somebody had told him he has to start cutting into the mountain. So he took a pickaxe and a shovel and started cutting into the mountain, and then went deep into the mountain and started excavating and excavating and excavating. And then a whole bunch of people came along and started following him, and they excavated too. And he's basically created like the eighth wonder of the world. Now, he died when he was doing it, right? But, I mean, and I stayed in this place. It's just the most unbelievable place you'll ever be. And when they discovered what he was doing, and by the way, this was the epicenter of where COVID was when the outbreak happened, right? When they discovered what he was doing, the police and the mayor from the town went to Damanhur because they had to stop him because they felt it was a danger. And he brought them into the temples, and they all started crying and went, "Oh my God, like this is just unbelievable."
Well, did he find all these temples underneath in the mountain?
No, he created them.
What?
Created them, and he said that he had the vision to create them. And like this thing is just bonkers. So have you ever heard? There's a great thing on YouTube called Yes Theory. It's these young guys.
Oh yeah, they're great. Those two boys.
They're
Yeah,
super. And I met one of them in LA, and Luca was a massive fan. He was about 10.
Yeah, because they're cool for young.
Really cool. And we met them, and they stayed friends with Luca, and he's been texting them ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, just like checking in. How are you getting on? You're all right.
So cool.
Like such lovely
Did you
guys.
see the episode where they went to the town in Austria? Was it Austria? Is where they're paying you to live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
Dads and
So have a look at Yes Theory, Damanhur, and they're the guys who've seen the most incredible things around the world are like, what the actual fuck? You go in there, and just the last thing I'm gonna say, but the night before COVID appeared on the radio, I stayed there, and they put me in the temple of the future, and they asked me to write my dreams down and say what happened, and I had this long kind of spirit thing that came to me and kept choking me all night, and I was like throwing up and feeling really, really ill. And then they asked me to write up my notes, and I said it was like resting on me. I felt awful, and then people started dying from COVID, like literally that day. It's one of the maddest experiences of my life.
Fuck?
That's the temple of
Is
the
that
future.
in your book?
No, fuck no, that's mad shit. I wouldn't say anything about that. No, it wasn't.
Good thing this doesn't go out to the world.
What was your wishes? Can't say.
So you go to bed, where you kind of you hope for things, and you write down your wishes, and I just hope for health and happiness for my family, nothing else. But then you get visited by a spirit from the future.
Wow.
I mean, watch the Yes Theory thing.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah, that's great.
unbelievable.
Great, that's my
Sorry.
bedtime
There we
reading. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap on, strap in, for the not-so-Christian brothers.
Welcome to the after show of Not So Christian Brothers with Justin Caffrey and Colm Hayes, who are brothers. I am not a sister. I'm Rebecca.
Yeah.
Great show this week.
Deep. Took it
Deep, but yeah.
different turns. Turns.
I think we're all in agreement that Colm's not a big fan of therapy, and there's no criticism of that or any, like, we're not all going to attack you, but you've kind of found through your grief of losing your wife that you're not really vibing sitting there.
How do I articulate this? With great difficulty and the use of no words, but just sounds. No, I've been to a few sessions, and I think they do help.
How do they help?
Are
you lying?
It's nice to talk to somebody about it, but I can do that here as well, and I can do it with friends, and when there's no judgment, and I just don't know what. For me, I don't know where the value is going to come from, because I think what's happened now with Anne is part of my life that I just have to understand rather than disentangle. and try to find.
But you'd like to push through and move forward. You're kind of that type of person, right?
Well, that's grief. I mean, grief.
Yeah, you're in grief, right? And you'd like to
yeah.
just not get into the weeds of every single thing that happened, good, bad, and indifferent with
Yeah,
Anne and your kids, right?
yeah.
Justin's point, which I was like, this blows my mind and this blows my mind, because they're always very different perspectives, is like, but you have to take the layer of the top of the milk off, or the, like you're talking about onion peel. There's the grief of Anne, but there's all the other shit underneath that could be also affecting your mental health that's sitting there dormant and needs to be dealt with. Whereas you're a bit like, leave it well enough alone and move on.
No. I've never said leave it well enough alone.
But just
no, I've said I'm comfortable with all that.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with all the other stuff.
But it's getting you down,
I mean,
too.
No, the other stuff in life is not getting me down.
It's just the grief.
The grief is getting me down. The loss of my best friend for 35 years and my wife. That's what's getting me down.
But he can't fix that, right? So he can't. You can't sit there and he'll go, we'll bring her back. Like, so that's kind of tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to fix it.
Yeah.
No, I know.
You know,
It'd
it's
be
like,
nice if they did, though, right?
it's, well, it would be great, but the reality is, loss and grief are here, right? And you have to wear them, and they're like, scratchy, unpleasant jumpers, and they're going to stay scratchy and unpleasant. And for me, when I went into therapy, it took me a year. I was in therapy for probably a year and a half, right? But it took me a year to get over the death of Joshua, and to kind of come to terms with who I am. I think you've had 3 sessions with Jerry. One of them you didn't even turn up for, right? Come on now,
Jesus,
let's be honest.
Shamers, aren't we? We're fucking
That's technically 4 sessions. I didn't turn up for one.
Sorry, Jerry, boy, I won't be there today.
Jerry, I'm really unhappy with that session that you weren't at, because I got nothing from it whatsoever.
Look, can I say something that you said there, right? You said it took a year and a half, right? So, yeah, but it's probably going to take me that long or whatever to deal with my grief. If I didn't get therapy, it's probably still going to take the same amount of time.
Okay, it took me a year and a half, 5 years after I should have been in therapy.
Well,
So
Wow.
before that, I was wanted to end my life.
yeah, but I haven't got to that stage.
No, I know, but that's
you don't
because
want
you're
to get to that
hopefully
stage.
doing it the right way around. I did it the wrong way around, and the consequences of not getting help. Plus, the critical thing, and I think in terms of our family, which we have, mental health goes on and on and on and on, and cycles all the way through our family, not only our immediate family, but our historical family, etc. There's also the choice of, okay, I don't want to continue on. And I think for me, in large part, I thought I have to show Luca that I want to be able to manage my mental health and be vulnerable, and to show him that in being vulnerable is a strength that's far deeper than anything that you'll ever find in denying, dismissing, or trying to be despondent to it. And I'm not saying that that's what you're doing right now, but you're in therapy right now, which is something I didn't do at this stage.
Are you saying it catches up with you anyway?
It's like I always say to people, it's like having like an old wedding car, right? When the tin cans are on the back of the car, right? The shit that you don't deal with in life is those tethered tin cans, and no matter how far or fast you run in life, it's like rackety, jangly, and until such time as you sit down and you reach behind and you take each one of those tins and come to terms with it, all of the things about me that I have to really deal with, it doesn't stop. So right now, the biggest tin can is grief, and it's therapy is of no other consequence whatsoever, but for you to speak and the person not to respond. So yes, you might talk to your friends, but they're going to be emotively connecting to your story.
Like,
know
you
that.
should do
But-
this.
but-
You shouldn't
but-
listen
no,
to
no,
that.
I
Like,
know,
I was
I know,
giving
but
out to you,
guys-
like, don't get sad.
From my head, all the tin cans that are banging at the back of the car are life. That's life.
Yeah, I
And
think you're more
I'm okay with it.
accepting about it.
I've made terrible mistakes, and mistakes we all make. And when I made those mistakes, I realized they were mistakes. I made good judgments. I made bad judgments. I don't need.
Well, I never went to therapy for a mistake.
Yeah, I don't need to.
What did you go to therapy
No, but you're
for?
saying sorry. No, just you're saying all the things, the banging at the back of the car.
No, but you're taking them as mistakes.
No, but what are they?
I think they're they're all the things that caused you pain
Oh,
that have yet to be resolved. They're
Oh
not-
no, but they have
Wow.
caused me pain, but I have resolved them.
But have you?
I've-
Oh my God, this is so interesting.
I'm perfectly comfortable with anything that caused me pain up until this point because I never experienced grief like this.
well,
But
look,
the other ones,
But you're saying the tin cans are like mistake things, and then Justin's like, but they probably are affecting and causing this bigger, devastation. Like he's basically saying what he just said to me about everything catches up, and maybe there is other things catching up. Whereas you're saying it's just life.
I think
Yeah.
if you
Interesting. Wow.
want my opinion in terms of where you are, I don't think that plays out in how you are right now, and I think you need to be working on your mental health because what you're going through is extraordinarily difficult. Like it's
Yes.
extraordinarily
no,
difficult.
it is. Yeah,
like
yeah.
The death of your wife or the death of a child, or husband, these are such seminal moments, and I think often there can be people can even be flippant around the fact, well, you're old and people
Your
die.
wife will die.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we're necessarily prepared for that moment at any point in our life. So
Wow, that's good.
This is super hard, and I don't think you're equipped to deal with it, and that's because I don't think anybody's equipped to deal with it.
And I don't disagree with that. But I'm disagreeing with nothing there. And what I'm trying to deal with is grief. And I know everyone says time will heal. I don't think time heals. Time passes. It doesn't necessarily heal.
You're 2 months in.
Exactly.
You're such a baby.
Yeah.
This is an
Time
infancy.
heals. My son is dead 11 years, and I'm very cool with it now. I don't mean that I'd rather he's not dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But your messages today, I was sitting having a coffee with Beatrice, and when you left the message, so she was sitting beside me and she heard it. And she immediately said to me, "You need to say to him, it's 2 months."
No, I know.
You need
I
to
know,
remember
I
that.
know.
So close.
You're trying
it's like
to rush.
2 minutes away from what happened.
I know.
And someone also said to me during the week who had lost their dad really suddenly,
Mm.
out of nowhere. Dad, super healthy, playing paddle the week before, super healthy guy, died suddenly. He said, apparently there's no difference, and you might disagree with this.
Between paddle and tennis, but the paddle killed him.
This is why I don't.
I don't want to
You're
play
gonna
paddle.
do that.
This is why I don't play paddle.
Apparently
This is why I don't play
apparently
paddle.
There's no difference
Everybody's
between
fixed.
Everybody's dying from
Stay in the
paddle.
tennis.
fucking
sorry.
bullying the Protestant
Go on,
week
go
after
ahead.
week after week.
No,
Apparently,
yeah.
there's no difference between a shock. I don't know. You're going to probably have some
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of psychology around this. Maybe I'm wrong. Apparently, a shock, sudden death, like a crash or a sudden heart attack or whatever, there's no difference in the grief levels to someone like Colm. And I'm not like, but you had a bit of time. There was travels, there was moments, there was conversations about what it may or may not be like. You got that week with her in hospital. People came in. There was a beauty in that. Devastation, but a beauty. There was playing music. There was having a goodbye. Shit. Then suddenly I remember you saying, and now it's happened. It's fucking awful.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing like, oh, I'm ready for it.
No.
And then the shock is, I'm never ready for it. Apparently the grief thing is just a shit show no matter what happens. Am I wrong? Maybe that's wrong.
No,
Apparently it's
absolutely.
shit no matter what.
And it's also and because
And people might go, you time with Anne. Fuck
because so
that.
many people has so many different relationships with that person who's passed, your grief is different.
Yeah.
So there may be some people who had a different past with Anne, let's say some of her siblings. So their grief is so completely different. Obviously, then children, with their mother, the grief is different. So it's. I think the thing about grief is it's so individual.
But also in the context, right? I think like Anne's immediate family are impacted, her siblings are impacted, everybody around her is impacted. But the acute level of grief for you three who lived in the same house as her
Oh yeah.
for 40 years is immeasurable in comparison to other people. And I think proximity to grief is the decider in real terms as to how one responds. And I'll go back to the point I was making earlier, that I think if you want to build your biceps, right, you don't go to the gym 3 times and think you've conquered it. Managing your mental health is about being consistent in a space over time and learning how to open up about being vulnerable.
But also, we spoke about choices on the same episode. We were talking about Troy Parrott, and he's gone to a different club, and he's the choices people make to get better. You're talking about choices with addiction, and I thought you were so excellent on that, Justin. You're like, we're not demeaning or diminishing people who've had poor mental health, come from extraordinarily tough adversity and bad situations. We're not saying it, but you are making a choice, as Terry agreed, every time you pick up a bottle or a syringe or make a bad choice in your life, right? Choices. And I guess what you're kind of saying with grief is making the choice to get healthy for you, yourself, your family, those around you, turning up at therapy, whether it does or doesn't benefit you, talking about, like you're just saying, in order to stay healthy, you have to make those choices every day. And it's not fucking easy. You also said that. And I was thinking about the shielding of the kids, like you're talking about the Richard. I read about that being thrown out of the car. We are so bad now because we shield and protect our kids. We want to mollycoddle them, keep them in, don't go outside, give them a screen instead of letting them actually run and cut themselves. And what it's doing is going to make children with poor mental health, actually, because they have no resilience and they're not going to be growing up with any adversity. And all of this is so scary to me, because to work on our mental health, we need challenges, but we also need to show up every day and make choices. Something that I'm really working on at midlife. The minute I turned 40, I was like, what are the things that really aren't aiding me?
Yeah.
And so you've taught me a lot about like making the right choices every day. Kind of sucks ass.
See,
but it works.
It does.
Over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reality, I think, in real terms, and I really, I find this topic so important in terms of how we bring kids up, right? That I think, you know, the challenges that we face are the ones that really define who we are. And I think for me, you know, I love my son dearly, but I've always let him face into his challenges on his own, right? I'm there to support him, but I want to see, how do you get on? How do you manage this? How do you get through it? And I think sport is such a great place. You know, disappointment is going to be the theme of your life. And if you've lived a life so far that isn't themed around disappointment, well, hold tight, because it's going to come. And if we learn how to manage disappointment, then we find joy. Because joy in the midst of disappointment is just a good sunrise, or a nice piece of toast with a lovely drink of coffee and a chat with a friend. It's not, you know, scoring the goal for Ireland.
Then what about the kids that grow up with everything? They've wealth, health, happiness. The parents aren't fighting. There's no crap underneath. There's no
He's the really family like that.
No. But so I'm not talking about some fake model-esque family or step for one, but a family that's pretty solid with their mental health. Say the dad and mum don't have some major issues. Most marriages have a little bit of a yin-yang, where there is tricky stuff that you're bringing from your past. But say pretty chill. And maybe you're right, Colm. Maybe I'm opening up a bit of a, like Rebecca all families.
I think any family, let's say 3 kids, 2 parents, and there's grandparents, and there's siblings, and there is mental health, and then there's jobs, career, finance. There, nobody goes all the way without
even the perfect outside.
I mean, one thing that I learned years ago, right, when I was involved in Cycle Against Suicide, and we would have discussions about this, and then we'd have was my favorite word, which is empowerment, and it was for kids in particular. And when we would do talks in school, we'd never firstly judge anyone, obviously, you know, and you'd never tell them what to do, you know, and I know the therapists don't do that, but what you do, you knew what's coming around the corner. For them in life. So it's to give them the language, the narrative of empowerment, that there are things you can possibly do. There's armor you can wear. There is stuff that maybe a light will turn on when you're in that predicament. So you empower them to make possibly the right choices. You never tell them what the right choices are, because nobody knows that are the wrong choices. And it's just that level. And I think that for me, with my kids, that's what we did all the time. We empowered them. We told them, look, stuff's going to happen. I always tell the story, right? When Alex was 14 years of age and started leaving condoms in his room, right? The point being, we weren't telling Alex to go out and have sex every night. We were saying, we're empowering you with something here. The knowledge that you may need this to avoid any complications in life, right? So you make the decision. We've just given you the armor. And then what happened was, I think there was one week Anne went in. At one stage, there was 20 condoms in there, and Anne went in, and there was only 2 condoms left. And she was going, what the hell? His friends were now calling around to him Now, we weren't encouraging sex. We weren't encouraging anything. But all we were saying was...
So Catholic, isn't it, handing out the condom? It's like you're so empowered now that you hand out condoms.
But it's yeah, I know. But I just feel that sometimes empowerment is, and I suppose in mental health, I take that in. I try to empower myself. I know I'm vulnerable, and I know I fall apart, and I know I've messaged you many occasions going, this is overwhelming, I don't know what to do, But I have to empower myself to get through that, to the next stage, to the next level. Well, I don't know what the next level is, but...
I love how you said sport. Sorry to interrupt. I love how you said sport because my daughter Gia, I don't really like to talk about the two of them, but like she would have cried going into sports day, basketball, hockey. She was a very shy child. She's very different to me, or maybe I'm just always asking. But she's extremely shy. She struggles a lot with her confidence and would be the kid who's always the head down. And I was always told this, and it was always a worry. And she struggles. And like sport again is just for me one of my favorite, like it's such an incredible example of how people can just shine when given the opportunity. And she always cried going into any show where she had to be slightly visible, and she would always be the kid. Disappointingly for me, because I'm so proud of her, who'd be at the back and I couldn't see her, and I'm like, where is she? Oh, we threw her at the back. And the kid who she's sitting out hockey and really kind of disturbing the hockey class because she's not getting go, okay, I'll take her out of that and I'll refund you. No, don't worry about it. So it was constant disappointments, but not that I didn't think she was great. Disappointments for her that she wasn't involved. And I think, the story of her suddenly winning races last year out of nowhere, like I was like, what the fuck, Forrest Gump? Like what the, like I was here just on the mat pouring wine, having the crack on some mat, watching my kid and people going, Rebecca, get over here. To the point where everything was like, what? Look at her. And she was just fucking running. And I remember going, what is happening to my child who's deeply shy, struggles
I think she was running away from you.
You know what? She just fucking knew how to do something, and she was like, I can do this. And it wasn't pep talks from Jason and I. He's an excellent athlete and runner. It wasn't mentorship. It wasn't us, right? Whatever about that.
It was.
It was. Sure, it was empowering her to do
bringing,
whatever.
You kept bringing her to events
bring her to
find
show up,
out.
and sometimes she didn't get out of the car. Mostly she didn't. And this one time, I could see her faltering. She was like, she got out of the car at Greystones to the track, and I said, kept saying to Jason, like, negative Nancy's were like, she's not going to do this. And she got on the track, and I kept going, you're grand, and she had the crap runners. She'd no spikes, no gear. She had the glasses on. They weren't fixed properly to her head. And I go, it's done a dick. This is just going to be hard for this kid. Fuck me when she got a gold. I don't know what it was, but it was like something out of the Olympics. I've never cried so hard. I hugged her so tight. That was a joy moment. And I thought this probably will never happen again, but good for her. Happened again. Goes to the next one. Gets confidence. Then she gets some bronzes, which she's very dismissive of. I was like, hey, Sister Sledge, a year ago, you couldn't do jack shit. Shut up. So example, and I will cut this short, on Sunday we go to a race, which is not in her remit. It's under 10s. She's just turned 8 a week ago. So she's usually running in under 8s. So now she's under 10s. She does 80, 100 and 200. That's her thing. She's a sprinter. She's got the, strength and butt, and she moves. 800 meters ain't her vibe. Up a hill on a track with a bunch of 10-year-old long-legged lads and lassies. So it was a mixed group of 72 people. And I said, I've entered you to this thing. And she goes, well, why? That's not and I go, because I think it might be fun and enjoyable and a challenge. And you want to, and there was like, I don't want to. And I got in the car, sat there, silence the whole way. I was like, again, I don't think she's going to do this. I swear to God, lads. It was just after the storms. It was waterlogged and crap. Again, she doesn't have the right gear. And she starts, and I said to Jason, if she just does the thing, even if she ends up last, but I'd have been pissed if she was last. If she's done the thing, well, fuck me. Like, I am watching this kid pick up pace, go to the middle, go to the thing, and her little top, run. She hits the halfway mark. So she got to the mid kind of section of the thing at the end. That's how she finished. She has just turned 8, and she looked for my face, and I was like, fucking yeah. Like, I couldn't stop screaming at her. Because it was like, you're showing up, G, you're taking part, you're pushing yourself up a hill, you don't like that kind of run, and it's pissy and cold. And I swear to God, children, my child and all of our children surprise us all the time. But I think, we talk about they have everything, privilege, wealth, but that resilience piece, fuck.
Well, that's ask her why she didn't win.
I said in the car, it's disappointing that you didn't go fast at the bit where I told you to go fast with the old house and the fucking thing, and you're a bit shite, and then I smacked her across.
I just
think she's amazing.
I think,
incredible.
I think children are so resilient.
Much more interesting though.
I mean, even my kids, I think they're so resilient now. And I mean, they're 31, 25.
I want to be her. She's 10 times us. She's amazing.
But I think we all were. I think there was a lot of I think all of us got to here now by being resilient. I mean, there was battles along the way. There was a sense of empowerment. Exactly what you did there was you brought her along to every event till she found the event. You could have, after the first time, just said, well, that's it. We're doing jigsaws and get onto YouTube.
Because I'm a dick.
But no, it's not. That's what a parent is. But you're giving her that empowerment that, you know, eventually you will find something. And when she finds it, she's got it, you know. And I think we've all been like that in your life, be it through sports or be it through whatever. I'm still searching for my sport. I think it's archery.
But also, I think it's you know, in large part, this not holding on to this idea that that's what you are or that's what you do. I think for me, I think the ability to be flexible in life is available for everybody. And the only person who stops you from being flexible is yourself. You create the prison in your own mind. So you can choose to say, I'm not going to say I can't do math anymore, or I'm no good at English, or I can't run 800 meters because I run 100. You can do whatever you put your mind to, but you have to choose to go there.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. And
do you know what I feel sorry for? The people
well.
who haven't had challenges. And that sounds really kind of nasty, but actually when I meet people who've had a really clean slate of it, and
Just punch them in the nose.
I just don't.
Bang.
I don't have as much of attraction or a chemistry with people who are just like, yeah, I got into that, and then got the job, and then everything's great. I fucking love someone.
No,
who's
but I
beaten
think
those
they're lying.
challenges.
I think they're lying.
Do you?
Yeah, I think everyone has had challenges.
I
think a lot of people try to say, "Oh yeah, I was so successful. I got this and I got that, and then I got promoted here and I got there, and I have 2 perfect kids, and my husband is so hot and blah blah blah." I think they're lying.
And then we all forget about life because your challenges don't come at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
I just to close on this point, right? Because this is really controversial when he says this.
That's a controversial point. That's the first rule of podcasting.
but Elon Musk's
You're a fucking mate.
Elon Musk says,
Yeah.
no, I listen, there's lots of things with Elon Musk I think are very wrong. But he says people who get offended by words have never clearly been punched in the face.
It is very true.
And I think that level of adversity, like if you think your life is hard right now, try getting punched in the face, and then you know, okay, it can be harder than it is. And I think we all have a capacity to push on a bit harder. And if you're not finding it right now, it's okay. You know, tomorrow's another day. Dig in. You know, and what the old Chinese proverb is if
Don't eat cock.
Oh, jeez, what?
That's actually
Let's
Chinese.
end there.
What?
Please like, subscribe, and follow. And for the purposes of the tape,
I will
don't
be
eat
beeping
cock.
that one out.
Send us your comments and let us know if you. I mean, maybe those people who have a different view to
That was
Rebecca who
actually
do eat cock.
Chinese. That was
Please write in.
Well, there is the other Chinese proverb: "Man with hole in pocket feel cocky all day."